And we didn't finish the lesson in algebra, but we started it. So the goal is to calculate measures of center and measures of variability. Variability is another word for spread. So how spread out the data is. And for measures of center, like what are some examples of those? You guys have a special lesson in math class. Median. Like median measures the center of your data.
Oh.
What else would be considered a measure of center? No. Good try. Quartile 2 is another word for median. We've got that there. There's another major one. Average. Average / mean. So those are going to be big this unit, knowing that they're a measure of center. So like the typical value of your data. And then measures of variability or spread is what we called them on that other lesson we did. What are some examples of that? So actually that would be like mode. Mode would fall under this, except for we're not going to really use mode a whole bunch this unit, this year. But that would be a measure of center, a typical value. What measures like how spread out the data is? Range. What else? There's like one more. Interquartile range. Good. So range like of your whole thing, interquartile range. That's all we've talked about so far. But there's also going to be something called MAD coming up. Tomorrow we'll talk about it. So that's mean absolute deviation. That measures how spread out stuff is. And then also another thing called standard deviation. That is also coming up. Then also talks about how spread out the data is. So I think in this lesson, it's just mostly like what it is. We will find out which are more appropriate in certain situations. So just being able to calculate these things, I mean, you guys have interquartile range down, or at least you should. Mean and median. It's just we haven't gotten to the MAD part yet. So that's tomorrow. Okay. To help out with some of that, we are going to make a box plot foldable. So I'm going to pass out those papers. Once you finish making it, it'll be worth a project grade in math lab. So far in math lab, we've just done classwork grades. So like choosing not to do this would be not good for your grade. So I'm going to pass that out and then I'll give a few more instructions. Is that you are going to line it up. So you have the two papers on top of each other. I don't know if you can see it on this little thing. Nope, I don't think you can. Too small. But you're gonna line it up to where you can see the tabs. Well, you do one more back. So ignore the big slip of paper, but like this, where it's interpreting, comparing, like kind of like that. And then when you fold it, you should be able to see like the creating and then the like unique title. Okay. So then you can fold it, and then at some point, it doesn't have to be right now, but at some point you can staple it to secure it. Okay. Okay, your group knows how to do it. Because it looks something like this. And lay your hand like that, like this first. And then all right, and then at some point staple it to secure it. But now you have a little learning tool for your box plots. All right, when you open up the very top cover, you see your first example. So example 1, it says create a box plot for each set of given data. So we've done this before. What do you need to make a box plot? Okay, good. So your 5-member summary, your median you usually find first, and then what? Yeah, to make a box plot, what do you need? Someone mentioned them briefly. So go Q1 median, then what? Q3, what else do I need? Good, it would go on the right side, and then last thing you need class. Minimum. All right, that's what creates your box plot. So wherever these numbers are on that number line, usually I'll put dots at first. The middle 3 dots get a line in between, or a line through them. That makes up the box. And then the whiskers, because usually we call it a box in this plot, are connecting the box to your maximum and your minimum. So find your 5-member summary for your example 1 and 2, and make your box plot from that. We'll go over what are the actual numbers before you make your box plot. Questions, comments, concerns? Okay, so we went over the 5-member summary, which is also listed on your paper. Table 1, what did you put for your least value? And guys, if you disagree at any point, just let us know. Table 2, the lower quartile. Table 3, the median. Table 1, the upper quartile. And table 2, the greatest value. Okay, let's see. On my key, it says that my least value is not 5, although maybe it's just printed differently, because on my screen right now, it looks like it is 5. So sorry, maybe I have to fix the key. Yeah, the least value is 5. Lower quartile is 10, median is 15, upper quartile is 22, and the greatest is 38. So that is all right. Anyone need like more help on figuring out any of that? All right, so the numbers were already in order, so that makes it a bit easier. So yeah, we have our minimum, our maximum. Usually those are pretty easy to identify. So dots over the 5 and where the 38 would be approximately. Between the 35 and the 40, a little bit closer to the 40. And median looks like you guys said is between that 14 and 16. We go left, right. And whenever I draw the median and it happens to be between 2 numbers, I will also show that because 1, I need it for the box plot, and 2, when we figure out our median of our lower and our upper, as long as it's not the median of the whole thing, like we can cross out that 14 and the 16, if that makes sense. All right, that's why when we do our crossing out and we have the 2 10s in the middle, our Q1 is going to be 10. Because average of 10 and 10 is 10. And then when we do our crossing out for the upper part, we have to find the median of 20 and 24. So that middle number is 22. So yeah, you guys are right. But yeah, those will make our 3 middle dots. So on the 10, on the 15, on the 22 approximately. It's not a rule that your box plots have to be like perfectly symmetrical. Sometimes we do have it where, you're like one whisker is longer than the other. Or like the median is closer to one edge of the box than the other. Sometimes that happens. So your box plot, when you put it on your number line, should look something like that. Questions? Okay, so you have a few more examples in there. Do them, let me know if you have questions. Today we release at 12:06. So what, or not 12:06, 12:07. So what I could do, because I don't want you guys to lose these, is like, can you make sure your name's on the front? And then you can put them in a folder. You don't have to do this at home, you can spend more time tomorrow. But like, we'll put them in a folder and you can continue tomorrow. All right, so do as much as you can today for the rest of the examples. Add questions, add